Hey guys, it's Mike with 716 Sports Entertainment, and we are coming to you live for a review of Friday night's SmackDown. Just ended, and wow, what a fantastic show we had tonight on for the SmackDown, the first SmackDown after WrestleMania. Hell of a show, and it just ended with the TLC match, which I'll get into in a few minutes. But man, that was absolutely fantastic. I'm going to give you my full breakdown and review of the show, and as always, stay tuned for our full podcast with myself, T. Reese, and Mr. Sean O'Neill, where we're going to break down everything, give you guys all of our opinions, and where we think all the stories are going to go next from here. And as always, guys, please like, share, and subscribe. We want to try and grow this channel. When we get to 100 subscribers, we're going to do something real big for you. We got a couple of really fun videos planned out for you. And also take a look at our NFL reviews as well. We've been breaking down the draft, and that's kind of been a lot of fun for us. So let me go ahead and kick this off. So the show opened up proper with a review of, kind of like a recap of WrestleMania, and just kind of showed all the highlights, broke down the all the major angles and the John Cena stuff, and it kind of led to John Cena coming right out and just kicking off the show in the same kind of black segment that he had before, where he had the nice the black background with the white lettering, which was really cool to see. And I really like that. I really like the way that they're presenting him and the way that they had the ring now announcer come out again and announce him as the last real champion. That was pretty cool to see. He didn't even get a word out before Randy Orton came out. And in the beginning, they kind of had sort of a weird promo when they were going back and forth, where Randy was kind of like, John, you need to have kids because you don't have any fulfillment in your life and you sort of have like a void in your life. And it seemed just a little bit awkward. And I kind of like got to where they were going with it as they sort of got it out, because there was a kid in the audience in the front row who must have given Cena the finger or something like that, because he Cena called the kid's dad a loser like multiple times, and it seemed like the guy kind of wanted to jump the railing and go after him. But like as it went on, it got a little bit better when Cena started talking about, wanting to erase, the title from existence, right? And mentioned how Randy has 14, but when he leaves, it's going to be one because he's going to get, just a fake tin championship. And yeah, so they ultimately kind of got really, really heated. And, Cena had made mention that, I'm going to erase you and your family from existence. And, Randy had went on about how wrestling had really provided for him, provided the kind of life that he's living right now. And yeah, it got really heated. Cena then went to leave and turned around and clocked Randy with a cheap shot. And Randy went down, he kicked him a few times, and then he went to pick up the title to kind of go and, hit him with it. And Randy ducked out of the way, hit him with an RKO, and stood tall with the title. And shortly after that, obviously, this got announced for Backlash, as we kind of knew it would, because this was going to be in St. Louis, Randy's hometown. So looks like it's going to be Cena's first title defense with the belt, and it's just it's so weird seeing this backwards, like with all these guys with their history, right? The two of these guys together and the 25 years the both of them have been in the WWE. It's really been something to see. So this led us into our first vignette of the night, where we officially announced that Fraxium is up from NXT and they're going to be in SmackDown and on the main roster, and it led them right into a match with Legado del Fantasma. This was a cool match. It was really awesome to see Fraxium, and they look just as good as they look in NXT. I mean, no surprise here. And my hats off also to Legado as well, because um, Birdo and Angel look so good, and there's just so many moves. They hit a Birdo hit a kind of a suplex off of the ring apron there, and it was just really really neat to see. But obviously, Fraxium picked up the win because of course they were right, and they kind of hit this Spanish fly into like it was almost I think they Tessitore called it a Phoenix splash. But it was really really neat to see and just fantastic. Fraxium looks so good, and they're going to fit right into this SmackDown Tag Team division, which is really flying high right now after that main event. Next, we got It's Tiffy time, and she came out to the ring and cut a promo, just kind of a generic by the numbers promo about how she beat Charlotte and how she's, everybody counted her out, but she's ready to go. And she was interrupted by Jade Cargill of all people, which was super interesting. And this just really led to an impromptu match between the two of them, which I was really surprised to see. I didn't like really think that this was going to go anywhere other than like a talking segment. And they went through a few commercial breaks and it was fine. Like it was a fine match. Jade showed her power and she kind of got most of the offense in. Tiffy went to go for a world's prettiest moonsault, but kind of like slipped off the rope. And I wasn't sure if it was like an injury or what it, what it kind of was, but it kind of broke down in the end, right? Where Naomi came out and, beat up on Jade and, kind of rolled her out of the ring a little bit. And then Tiffy got back in the ring, kind of scared Naomi out of the ring. And this led to a returning Nia Jax, who came back and beat the crap out of Tiffany, slammed her down, and then hit her with the bonsai drop at the end there to kind of stand tall with the title. To which we saw Naomi and Nia backstage a little bit later in the show, kind of just getting in each other's face. But I don't really think that's going to lead to anything. But I guess we're going to get a program with Nia and Tiffany, and Naomi and Jade doesn't appear to be done. So interesting to see kind of where that went. And, we'll talk about all of our predictions as to like where we're going to go. And if this, we think this is going to make the Backlash card, which seems very likely. But yeah, I guess more to come with that. Next, we had Jacob Fatu, the newly minted United States champion, come out, which was awesome. He looks so good. And you can kind of tell, like, as he started to cut his promo, that there's very clearly tension between him and Solo because they both came out together with no Tamatonga, which is kind of surprising. But Jacob just, he looks like a killer, looks like $1 million, came out, cut a great promo, and then was quickly interrupted by LA Knight, who, very clearly was like, I want my title back, I want my rematch. And then surprisingly interrupted by a Drew McIntyre. So I guess they're going to be putting him into this picture, which was awesome to see. I was really really impressed with that. So, they all kind of got in each other's faces and, LA Knight was just money on the microphone and Drew, same old Drew, also excellent, right? And this led to Aldis coming out and making a number one contenders match between Drew and LA Knight for the United States Championship. And this happened a little bit later on in the show. Then we had Zelina Vega backstage with Byron Saxton, just kind of talking about how she's ready for her opportunity for the United States Championship. And this led immediately into the match that was announced last week between Zelina and Chelsea for the US title. And this match was good. I mean, I still hate Zelina's music. It's so cookie cutter. But Chelsea's a big champ and she looks real good. Loads of interference in this match, as you kind of expected, until the ref eventually threw the Secret Harvest out of the ring. And like right after they, got sent to the back, Zelina, quickly won. And it was just kind of like that. Like it just happened, And I'm happy for Zelina. I mean, I think it's great. They had made mention that this is her first singles title in the WWE, which I'm really kind of surprised at. I feel like thinking back on it, she must have won something, but I guess not because there were only, just the major titles at the time, right? And I guess they weren't really kind of including the tag titles there. So, good for Zelina, and hopefully she can kind of carry it well. And as far as Chelsea goes, she didn't really, get a great opportunity with the US title and to like really carry it into like kind of any major feuds, but I have a feeling she's going to be in that Money in the Bank match when we get to LA in June, and I wouldn't be surprised to see if she wins it, frankly. So, they're just setting her up with a new faction, and I don't see like her falling down the card at all. So good for Zelina, and I'm really glad that she got her flowers there. This led to a segment with Miz and Carmelo Hayes backstage, just talking about how, Carmelo won the Andre and the Giant match, and Miz presented to him with like a big gold chain that had Andre's head on it, which looked kind of ridiculous, but it was also pretty cool to see. And Miz had made mention, look, I'm trying to get my own moment here as well. So he went out to the ring and cut a usual Miz, I'm not appreciated. I beat John Cena and, you guys don't cheer me. You cheer people like Cody Rhodes who lost to him and stuff like that. Miz just going for the cheap heel heat. When he was interrupted by a returning Aleister Black. Yes, not Malachi, but Aleister Black, and he looked like $1 million. He had the same kind of candles entrance where he sat in the coffin and the coffin kind of pushed him up like he had before when he had left WWE initially. But he looks good. He looks real good. Came down to the ring, didn't say a word, and just hit Miz with a black mass, and it was awesome. So I'm assuming they'll probably have a match eventually, but we'll I imagine they're gonna probably push him pretty hard, and I wouldn't imagine if we don't see him at the top of the card sooner rather than later. Um, Byron was then backstage again with Bianca, and Bianca had kind of revealed that she had some broken fingers and just kind of, talked about her match and had made mention she'll be back in a little while. So I think they're going to be writing her off for a little while. And I wouldn't be surprised, if that heel turn that we talked about is, or just a character refresh or something is in the cards for her. So, I am very curious to see what Sean and T's opinion is going to be on that when we have our podcast tomorrow, when we really break the full thing down. So, that led into the match for the number one contender for the US title between Drew and LA Knight. This is a good match. I mean, Drew and Knight are hard hitters. They both kind of they both had a flexing moment where they hit each other with a move and threw the other one into the corner, and then they both did like a muscle flex, which was really kind of neat to see. And they just, it looked good. It was a hard hitting match. They both got some of their big spots. And when it looked like Drew was going to win, Solo interfered to hit Knight with a spike, pulled him out of the ring. And then Damian Priest also came to interfere when Drew was going to hit him with a Claymore for the win. And the match kind of just got called off. And all five guys were just kind of brawling around. And then Jacob sort of took them all out and stood tall with the title. But makes me wonder if this is going to be a fatal five-way at Backlash with all five of these guys, because it looks like Priest and Drew aren't done, and Knight and Jacob aren't done, and I don't know about Solo, and I don't know where we go with Drew and everything, but like it seems like we're going to have a match between like all of these guys at some point for the US title. So should be interesting to see what ends up happening there. But I'm glad that they're keeping this going, and it'd be good to see Jacob sort of, have feuds sort of ready with like all of these guys. Because he looks like $1 million, like I mentioned before. And then this led us into the main event, was the TLC match for the tag team belts between DIY, the Street Profits, and the Motor City Machine Guns. And my God, this match was incredible. They got maybe like 35 minutes to go for this match, and it was just high spot after high spot after high spot. I mean, multiple table breaks, multiple ladder breaks. I mean, there was a one point in time where the Motor City Machine Guns hit a skull and crossbones on a table off the outside where Shelley was on the rope and Sabin was holding Gargano up and just right through the table on the outside. It was nuts. And then a moment kind of towards the end as well where Dawkins was standing on top of a ladder and Ciampa was hanging midair holding on to the title belts, the apron thing that was holding the title belts in the air, and Dawkins did a spear through the midair, through a table onto the mat. It was just absolute sanity. And the ending sequence saw the Machine Guns, Gargano, and Montez all, going up the ladder all at once. And Montez kind of jumped to the side of the ladder, pushed them both down, and retrieved the titles to retain. And the Street Profits, they're still your tag team champions. And my God, if you get any chance to go ahead and just watch this match again, like it is outstanding. It's one of the best TLC matches I've seen in probably 5 years. Absolutely outstanding. So that was SmackDown, and it was awesome. What a good show. I was really, really impressed. They did a great job with this show. And I think, they had a bit more, just a, I know that Raw had three matches and this one technically, what did I have? One, two, three, three as well. But, it just seemed like there was a lot more wrestling on this show, maybe because the matches were just longer and they gave it a bit more time, with the title change and everything. Actually, no, what am I looking at here? One, two, three, four matches on this show, but they just felt longer because the matches gave them a bit more time. So overall, top mark show. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. And we're going to do our full podcast on the show tomorrow. So take a look. Well, we'll give you all of our feedback and we'll break down all the feuds and where we think everything's going to go. And as always, guys, thanks so much for joining me for the review of SmackDown. As always, like, share, and subscribe. And, we really appreciate all the feedback. And, if you guys are liking this content and if you want to see more of it, please let us know in the comments. Or if, you think we need to change it up and, you want to see something different, let us know as well. We're always looking for feedback. And, we're going to have our predictions for Backlash coming up in a few weeks. And, we've already, we've already, kind of set it up there where Sean is in the lead with 9, Terrence with 8, and myself with 7 points so far. So we're going to keep this going, an entire season of this all the way through WrestleMania. So if you guys want to play along as well, put them in the comments and we'll keep track of it. And hopefully I can kind of get myself on top of these two guys by the time we get through the next pay-per-view. But as always, I've been Mike. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.